Hey guys, today just got some updates here on the Z car. I know it's been a while since I've shared anything. I hadn't done much to it actually, to be honest with you. I've just been driving it mostly, and as I've been driving it though, I've been finding more and more areas of rust where the Bondo has fallen out of this car. And so we've got some big plans coming up here. So it looks pretty good. You know, somebody did a paint job on this one, so it does look pretty good. But as mentioned when I first made the videos, we do have some rust in the back area, like under the back seat. And although I've made this car look really nice internally, as you can see, I mean, I've cleaned this car up and I've been daily driving it. As you can see, my back seat looks great. You know, I've got everything kind of put back together like it would be in a 2+2. But under that back seat, it is just full of rust. And there's a concerning issue with it. And the concerning issue is actually on the passenger side. It's the worst. So if I open this door up here, you can see that we've got a large hole right there, and all this Bondo is actually gone. So we don't even have any kind of dogleg or rocker panel back here. It's gone. And that's part of your structure of these cars. And so between all this rust, it's actually starting to rust through even around the lock. And of course I'm treating it with phosphoric acid just to kind of keep it under control. And I, paint it. But as you can see, this is just from like a year of driving it. Not in salty environment where I'm in the south, so we don't have the salt. But this is where it gets kind of bad. So you can see that from that point back there, all the way across the floor bed is gone. So that is where this car is kind of getting sketchy. And the more I look at it, I'm starting to see, some Bondo come through some of the top right here. You can see it's starting to crack right there. Just some body filler that's been put in there. And of course, I redid all the hatch last year, or earlier this year. I redid all the hatch. So all that's clean. I got a new gasket. But what has happened is actually the big problem I think that caused all the issues was the hinge area rusted out. And so there's a hole in the hinge area. And so even with the new gasket and everything, it still leaks a little bit on that side. But you can even see on this side where we're getting some cracks form in the where it was Bondoed. A lot of area there. And here's the issue. It's a 2+2, and they're very hard to get parts for. So I'll show you what's happening. This is the big news. So we're going to take this car, and I found this lovely 280z that's a hole. So it's just a rolling hole. It's a 74 260. It's been gutted, so it's not like I'm taking apart a really nice 260z here. As you can see, there's no engine or anything in it. And so I'm going to actually be taking this car and that car and make one really nice 260z powered by 280z guts. It's pretty much what we're going to do. And it's a coupe, so it's actually got the cool look to it. You can see, and actually this is a good point where you can see the difference between a 2+2 and a coupe. So this window shape right here is the biggest giveaway from the back window there to that window there. And you can see how shorter this area right here is behind your door. So you can I actually put my hand in that. On this car here, you can see how much longer that section is there. And even the doors are longer. So these doors are actually a good bit longer than the coupe doors. But this is a very solid car. I've got to get some body work done. I'm going to have it painted and everything. But you can see it's got a little bit of a mess right there, but not bad. And it's all metal. It's not rust. And everywhere you see this brown, that's just primer where it's had some work done to it. But I have spare carpet and stuff back here that came with this car. But it's still got all the metal back here is in good shape. The hinge locations, it just has some surface rust in it, but it's not bad at all. And of course that'll be addressed when I redo the car. But you can see it's gutted. It's got the dashboard in it still. So I'll be taking the dashboard out. But it's still got floor pans. It's still got pretty much everything with it. And the guy I bought this car from actually included original Fairlady Z fender flares. So I don't know if I'm going to use those because I just kind of like the looks of the originality a little bit. But you can see it's got floor pans in it still. Floor pans are all solid. All this is still solid. All this is still original and solid, so no rust in the rockers on both sides. It's in really good shape. So this is going to be the car that's going to turn into my 280Z guts. It'll be a 260Z. I'm going to keep it badged just like a 260, so it's going to look like a 260, and that's what's going to happen here. But it's just a really cool car. Everything's solid. Like even the front of my car is rusted out on that 280. And you can see it's still got all the brackets and everything for the front valance, and all that's in good shape. Now of course it's got some surface rust, but it's just surface rust. There's nothing structurally wrong with this car at all. The hood's in good shape. You know, typically they rust out right here in the front, and all that's still solid. It's got a little surface rust on the hood, but all that's still really solid. And what's really cool about it is that this car actually is the same color. So it's actually the color I kind of wanted. So I'm going to be able to keep the original color of this body. But this is the upcoming project. It's probably, I don't know how long it's going to take me to do this. I'm not going to be in a huge rush to do it. Mostly just get the body work done first, get this body where it's really nice, and then I'll start transferring all the guts. But you can see on this side here as well, everything's still real solid across here. It's going to be upside down, but you can kind of see here, even it's solid all the way down across the bottom. And the story is, this car has been in a shop for a long time, so it hadn't really seen the road, I don't think, since the 80s. It being a 260, I'm guessing it probably had carburetor problems like they all did, and the guy just gave up on it, and he probably just parked it. And that's kind of the story I've got from it. It's kind of sad to see this one go, because it is a matching number car, but when you get this kind of rust damage, and it's structural rust damage, you know, I mean, I could patch it up and I could fix it, but the reality is of it, guys, is that I can put all that work in this car, fix it up really nice, but it's still 2+2, and they're just not as valuable. And you know, and it's harder to get body panels for it. It's hard to get pieces for the interior. It's just a harder car to get pieces for, and because they're just not as desirable. But the coupe, you know, it's basically very similar to the 240Z. So a lot of stuff between the 240Z up, you know, as long as it's a coupe, they switch out for the most part. I mean, there's some things that will not switch out, but you know, there's a lot of things that will kind of cross over to some degree. You know, it might have to be modified a little bit, but it can be done. But the 260Z, for you guys that don't know, they actually have the rear end just like a 280. So the lights and everything, you have the reverse light like that, where the 240s, the dead giveaway is it's just a single light module. And I mean, this is a single module as well, but you're usually on the 240, your reverse light is like right here. It's just part of the bottom light. And if it's European, this is a yellow color with the reverse. But the rear valance is in good shape. Like, all this is still solid. So I mean, everything's about this car is just really, really, really solid. And it was local, and that's really the big thing, is it's a local car. And I thought this was kind of cool. So it has an old Z-Car sticker on it from a club. So there it is. Z-Club Association member there. One more thing I'm going to show you right quick. I did decide to go and pull the back seat out, and I'll show you the other reason. That's the big reason I decided to make this move to a coupe with all the guts. And that is this back seat area. You can see just how bad rusty it is. I mean, it's gone. This is actually part of your frame for your suspension right here, and it's actually cracked right there. You can see a gap in it right there. So this is all just rusted out. You know, it's just gone. And then of course you can see that side over there. That's the passenger side. And you can see that all that's really left is that sound deadening mat. And then you can see the crack along the floor pan there. And then you can even see that this main beam right here has even got pitting in it from the rust. So the passenger side seems to be the worst, but you know, with all this added up, that's why I've just decided to make this move and replace this whole body with this coupe. You know, because I've got good guts in this car. You know, everything runs. Like I said, I've been daily driving this car for a little while. You know, and it's doing real good mechanically. So I know it's got all the good mechanics in it. And the only thing that will be happening between the transfers, I'm probably going to put either a 4 or 5-speed manual in it, because right now this car is automatic. And I replaced that transmission last year. I lost second gear and the band had wore out in the transmission, so I just found a good used transmission, put in it. Special thanks to David for that one. David helped me out with that one. You know who you are. But I'll show you too the under the hood here. So more rust. So it's not just that area that's turned me away, but we also have the typical rust damage on the Z car. So like right here by the hinge, it's rusted out. On that side, it's rusted out. You know, and then of course it's still got the battery bracket, but it's got a hole underneath it. So the battery bracket's still there, but the it's not long till it's going to rust out and go. The hood's damaged. You can see that where somebody bundoed this hole up, and it's starting to rust out the top. And you can see the big repair right there where it took a hit. This car's also been wrecked, and I found this out after looking at the 260Z closer. Just kind of getting a detailed look. If you look over here on this side, you can see that's been buckled right there. You can see it's got a big dent in it right there, and it runs all the way down. That's pushed in, and also if you look at the radiator bracket, we're starting to get a gap right there in this piece of metal. So evidently it just took a fender bender at one point in time. It wasn't a hard wreck, I don't think, but it was enough to kind of buckle that up. And I've always had a gap issue with this hood, so I think that's why that is. So it's just, just stuff like that that's happening to this car. But all the engine's good though, like I say. So that's why I made this move to transfer everything to the coupe. But anyways, I'll show you too on this one while I'm here that none of that's rusted out on this one, which is another huge plus. You can see that all that is still real solid on this car. We have zero rust on any of that. Of course, the fenders aren't mounted; they're just sitting on this car right now. But there's that side, and we go to this side, and you can see the same thing. It's a good solid car all the way around. So, and of course that one has not been wrecked. You can see that little bit of metal in there, but you see that that's nice and smooth inside that tunnel right there. And that's where that one's all dented up. And of course when you go to the bracket right there, you can see it's all nice and flush. Still flat. So somebody did a good job straightening that car out, but it's definitely still been wrecked. But there's your battery panel. It's still there. It's got maybe a little bit of rust around it, but not bad at all. And of course that'll be cleaned up in the process here. This is new territory because I've never gone this far in the restoration of a car. And of course running my business full-time too, that's going to be quite a lot. But I'm probably going to leave this to a body guy. I'm going to let somebody just really do what they need to do to this one. And just get it back where it's a really pristine looking car. And then put all the seals back around the windows and all that good stuff, and I can just start transferring, the guts. So, anyways, thanks for watching.